What is going on, everybody? I am Johnny Martinez, and you are plugged into the Social Plug Podcast, where we connect you to level up and where we discuss and highlight ordinary people doing extraordinary things. We are always powered by Social Plug Media. Today, we got the privilege and honor of being downtown New Braunfels in Collab Space Studios. This is the hub. If you want to podcast, if you want to host your own podcast, be a guest, or some content creation that you need done for you, DM us, hit us up, socials, whatever you want to do. So like I said, I'm Johnny Martinez, and I have the privilege and honor of being on this podcast platform. So some of the things we talk about are tough. Some of the things we talk about are entertaining, challenging, inspiring, motivational, and so on and so forth. So I enjoy this platform. I enjoy being the host of this awesome podcast. But today, I'm going to preface our guest with some dialogue here. So everybody's going through something in life. We all got challenges, trials and tribulations, struggles, issues, family things going on, financial things going on. Some people are going through divorce. Some people are going through ailments, illnesses, so on and so forth. I can write a book about what people are going through. It is the holiday season, so this is a time of joy, but it's also a time of struggle. Some people are struggling financially. Some people are struggling internally with mental health. Mental health challenges are a real thing, and that is near and dear to my heart because I do have family members and people in my life that are going through some things right now, whether it be a breakup, whether it be a divorce, financial struggles, so on and so forth. But today we have a guest. He is very intriguing, and what I mean by intriguing, he's very courageous. He's very dynamic. He has some things going on in his life, and he wants to be vulnerable in relaying his story to the masses today, because it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of intestinal fortitude to want to come on a podcast with potentially millions of people watching. Because this podcast platform is seen by a lot of people, because we're not only on YouTube and Spotify, but we're on Facebook, Instagram, and beyond. So the power of podcasting is real, and he understands that. So he wants to come on and inspire others. He wants to come on and motivate others with his, and I'm going to say it, his new diagnosis. So people go through life, and sometimes they have headaches, they have blurred vision, they have, they're dizzy sometimes, dizzy spells. Sometimes they need to lay down and take an aspirin. But this young man is courageous, like I said earlier, is courageous in the sense that he wants to tell this story. And his story is inspiring. It is ongoing. He recently got diagnosed with something, and before I introduce him, I'm not going to say what he got diagnosed with, but I'm going to kind of let him say it. He got diagnosed with something that is definitely a game changer and a life changer for anybody. I don't care what walk of life you come from. It is very, very impactful, and it not only impacts the individual, but impacts family, friends, support system, and beyond. So my man, James Cantu, thank you for coming on the podcast today, my friend.
Appreciate it.
So I got James Cantu and his friend Michelle Rhone, and we also got Russell Rhone here in the studio as well. All right. So I don't know if you want me to kind of give the background of it, kind of like I did, but you are a courageous young man. And I'm going to say young man because you're very young. All right. You got a little grays in there.
Yeah, a little bit.
But you're young overall, man. And I want to commend you on so many things. And we have a story to tell about you and your courage and everything else that comes with your newfound diagnosis, man. You are currently on medication. Correct. So I'm going to preface it with this. Sometimes the medication gets you a little drowsy.
It does. And
it kind of, makes you zone out sometimes. So we're going to get through this. Because this is not only a tough conversation, because we got a whole bunch of cameras around, James.
Absolutely.
We got mics. This is not your wheelhouse. This is something, because you're a very humble guy and you don't like being in the spotlight. So this is something that's very unusual for you. Mm-hmm. It's not comfortable. not only talking about what's going on in your life, but in this capacity. So like I said, kudos to you. And Michelle, thank you for being here with him. I mean, this is a tough conversation that we're gonna talk about, but we want to make people aware of what James is going through and what thousands of other people are going through as well. So it's not only you; it's a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Right. So let me start off with this. Where are you from?
From Pleasanton, Jordanton area, just south of San Antonio.
Pleasanton, Jordanton. A lot of deer hunting going on out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Are you a deer hunter?
I am. I haven't really hunted a whole lot in the past few years, but whenever I was younger, it was like we always prepared for it.
Yeah. Dude, I'm a pansy, man. I've been asked to go hunting, and I'm always like, no, dude, I can't go. It's because I've seen Bambi.
Oh, Lord.
And I don't want to shoot Bambi's mom. And then, you know what? I get kind of grossed out with skinning the deer and all that. So call me a pansy ass. Call me what you want.
I remember
But
you
you
telling
and
me about
Russell
that
just
the
went
other
dove
day.
hunting. You just went hunting.
Yeah, we just
You
went
and
dove
Russell
hunting.
hunting.
Me and Russell did with
Yeah.
his family. So,
Is he pretty hardcore?
oh, absolutely. he is. He is.
Have you ever been hog hunting?
Yeah. So
Dude.
we did that years and years, especially at night. So we were always, going out and beer drinking just like anybody else. I mean, it was country boy thing.
Yeah. Dude, those hogs chase you, don't they?
They can.
Have you ever been stuck by one or anything
No,
or seen
but
it?
I had
seen
a
it
buddy
done?
of mine who had.
Man,
You got to run fast.
those things are like 500 pounds sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
Look, I'm from Oklahoma. I've even been hog hunting.
So are
It's not
hogs?
fun.
So I've seen people hunting them from like the helicopters. Is that a thing or is that illegal?
That
or-
is a thing now. So
Is it legal?
as far as I know, yep.
So there's certain ranches that you can go on there and rent a helicopter
Yep.
and just start shooting hogs because they're feral hogs and they tear up the damn land, don't they?
They do.
And do those hogs taste pretty good, or is it better getting some pork from HEB?
Well, actually, I mean, you can mix the meat if you want to,
Yeah.
but we've had barbecues to where we just throw the whole thing on there.
Yeah. What's your favorite kind of meat? You like venison, or you like pork, or you like beef? or-
Venison
Okay.
and beef. No.
Yeah. So there's a running joke between J-Rock and I. I say, if they don't sell it at HEB, I'm not eating
You're
it.
not eating.
Yeah. But I see they sell octopus now and stuff, so I need to practice what I preach and go eat some of the octopus and the squid. And I just like going through that glass and looking at all the the different seafood because I like watching stuff like Deadliest Catch and all those things. And man,
that's pretty cool.
I love the ocean, but I'm fearful of the ocean. We're about to go on a cruise next week as well, so hopefully the weather's good and it's not so
So where y'all going on that
Is it
cruise?
turbulence? To Mexico, man, for Christmas.
Oh.
We just got back from a cruise.
Yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
it was our 20th anniversary. Which cruise line are y'all going?
Royal Caribbean.
That's the one that we just did, and you will have the time of your life. It is amazing. You will not get seasick. It's not like it's not like the Titanic. So you'll have a great time, and there's a lot to do.
Okay, yeah, this is being like my fifth
Yeah.
cruise. So I've been inebriated on the cruise before, and it kind of balances out the
Yeah.
it's not turbulence. What is it?
The seasickness,
the motion
motion
in the
sickness.
ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pleasanton, Poteet, that's south of San Antonio for those that don't know.
Correct.
So I used to be an Air Force recruiter, and that was part of my zone. Not a lot of people down there, but there's some good people down there.
Yep, absolutely.
Good little restaurants and just good wholesome people, man. So you were born there, and what brought you to New Braunfels? Because or actually Canyon Lake, because that's where you're at now.
Yeah, I'm in Canyon Lake right now, Sattler. I just wanted to move up to the hill country. You
Okay.
know, nice to have something different. I've moved around a little bit here and there, especially being in the oil field for about 20 years. I moved to New York State for a little while for a couple of years, and I got to experience that part.
In the oil industry?
And worked around West Virginia a lot, and then I've also worked around North Dakota, and so pretty cold around that area.
So we don't hear a lot about oil in New York State.
No, well, that's where our yard was. So we worked
Okay.
a lot in PA and West Virginia.
Yeah, Pennsylvania has a lot, man.
So we did a lot of work around there.
Okay, good deal. So North Dakota has a lot of
Yep, that's
Oil.
one of the epicenters for up there. So,
okay. There used to be a show back in the day I used to watch called Black Gold.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
I did. I didn't watch too many episodes, but I caught a few.
What do they call those guys? The not rubbernecks. Roughnecks. I said rubbernecks.
Well, they probably. I mean,
No, rubbernecks are the people we get watching them on 35. There's somebody
yes.
pulled over that causes miles of traffic
Yes,
that
we
holds
love
everybody
those.
back.
Or
right?
drives in the left lane doing 40 and yeah.
So from Poteet, Jordanton to oil industry, now living in Canyon Lake.
Yeah, so I started my own business trucking a few years ago, and I just wanted to be able to get away, and do something different. And because I've always swung sledgehammers all my life, so I figured I'd take all the money I was making and create a business, and and finally it worked out. And I had a friend who helped me out too. As well.
James, that's tough work, man. Slanging sledgehammers and oil fields and all that stuff. Your hands are probably always rough,
but it's a part of your life. I mean, we always called it that it's not a job; it was a lifestyle.
It's a calling, man.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And it'll always be that way.
So you enjoyed that lifestyle, the roughneck life, and what was your position out in the oil field?
I did fracking, cementing, and I did a few other things, and I also did drilling back in the day, in about the late '90s.
Okay.
And I went to college for a little bit. I got a small business degree, and I was like, man, I don't need to do that. So I went right back in the oil field.
Yeah.
I mean, I was making a lot of money in the oil field.
Yeah.
So I mean, really and truly, I wasn't going to make the same kind of money.
Right.
Having a business,
Right.
degree or whatever. So
Please don't tell me that, since my son just graduated from A&M and with a business degree, and I need him to make a lot of money.
Well, it depends on what you want to do. I mean, I've always known that being in the oil field is something, was a part of me.
Yeah.
My family was in it a long time ago.
You got to want that kind of life.
Yeah.
Because you work these crazy schedules too, right?
Yeah.
Like what, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off?
Well, I did like 14 and 7, and whenever I lived up there in New York and flying back and forth, whenever I worked for Schlumberger, I did a 21 and 7.
Holy shit, man. And those 21 days, what was your work day like?
Well, I was a trainer
sundown?
up there, so my work day would be in the yard, or it'd be catching jobs at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. We get called out at 6 and wouldn't come back till 6 or 10 the very next morning and stuff like that. And then go home, might get called right back out 4 or 5 hours later.
So that's not for the week. That's not a career field for the week, man.
No.
It's constant work, and you can't be a pansy ass out there.
No, hell no.
And if you are a pansy ass, you'll get sniffed out real quick.
Yep.
So I'm sure retention is low and turnover is pretty high.
Yep.
There's constantly new guys coming in constantly.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of new guys come and go. There was a lot of people that I learned from that had been in it before I was even in it.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from those guys. And they told me right from the beginning, they're like, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And I knew, if I listened to them, then I was going to make it.
Yeah.
And I had to.
That's part of life. You got to listen, because if you don't listen, you're never gonna really learn.
Yep.
And people just want to talk all the time, like me included. I'm always talking, right? I just talk constantly. But in real life, people want to talk and talk and talk, and they don't take the time to listen, and then they fizzle out, and then they wonder why they didn't make it.
Well, because they didn't pay attention. They didn't take any of that stuff to heart.
Yeah.
And they thought it was a game or something.
Yeah.
So you can't think that way in the oil field.
So you went from the oil field to a business owner, small business. So you were a trucker. You owned your own trucking company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, and you still do.
I still do, and it's one truck, so I'm not able to drive that now. So that's going to be on hold for at least a good 6 to 7 months.
So, to go into the business a little bit, you would get hired, and I'm just we haven't talked about this. I'm just brainstorming here because I have other friends that own trucking companies. They get hired to carry a load, let's just say from here to California, here to New York City or whatever, and you're just carrying chickens or computers or whatever. Is that kind of how it works?
Mine's local, and it is in the oil field.
Okay.
So I was hauling water, wastewater, and stuff.
Okay.
So I basically stayed within about 100 to 150 mile radius. So
Okay.
I really didn't go very far.
But there are some that go across country.
There are some that go cross country. They'll from here to California and back or whatever.
Yeah, there's shows about that. I've mentioned several shows already, but the haulers or something. You take these and I say chickens because this dude, I remember he had a whole bunch of chicken crates, and he hauled them across, but he had to feed them and all kinds of stuff along the way because it took like 3 days to get where he was going.
Yeah.
And then some take horses and hogs, and you got to feed them, and they poop and stuff, and you got to clean that out.
James just does water, thank God.
Too much for me. But
you're
safe.
Livestock and stuff,
you're safe doing the
stop.
water, man.
Yeah. Well, it was easy. I mean, it's easy and it paid decent. So
yeah. Well, good. So let's kind of get into the meat and potatoes of your story, man. So we kind of gave a little background who you are. You're an Astros fan as well. Mm-hmm. You're a dad. Your daughter's 22 years old. Mm-hmm. We'll get into that a little bit. So as young men, and I kind of said it earlier, we're strong and we're resilient and all that, but you don't know how resilient you are until you're diagnosed with something, right? And what have you been diagnosed with, James?
A tumor in my frontal cortex lobe, whatever you want to call it.
So a tumor, man.
About the size of a grape.
About the size of a grape, which is freaking scary. The average Joe would freak the hell out on that, and that's just real talk. And I couldn't even imagine. So let's get into this. So you got diagnosed with this about a month ago?
About a month ago, yeah. Right around about the 14th.
Okay. So. About the 14th of November, right before Thanksgiving and things like that. Hell, we're the 17th of the month right now, so about 33 days ago. Very, very recent, very, very new in your life. So what prompted you to go to the doctor or to the clinic?
I woke up one morning and I had 3 seizures.
Okay.
Almost 2 back-to-back, and then the EMS was called. And while they were there, I went into my 3rd one.
Were you alone?
No, I was with a friend.
Okay. So you were out and about and this happened. Never happened before in your life?
Nope.
It was, and your friend was freaking out,
yeah,
right? I mean,
so like, she did freak out and was like, what do I do? Is this normal? Just because she didn't know me very well, mm-hmm. She'd known me for about a month or so. And so she goes, I don't know what to do. And then once I went into my 2nd one, she knew that wasn't normal. So.
Did you know you were going through a seizure?
I didn't, no. I didn't know what was going on until the EMS had gotten there, and I was wondering why they were there.
Did you black out?
Yep. I just blacked out. I felt sleepy all of a sudden, and then I don't remember anything after that. And then I remember seeing faces, in my face, and that's it. And then I don't remember anything after that, and all of a sudden I get these picture frames of other people's faces in my face, asking me questions and stuff like that. And I remember them asking me, what day is it, what is a year and stuff, and I really couldn't answer that. So it was really rough.
So you were pretty scared,
yeah.
I'm sure.
I really was, but I really couldn't think of anything until I woke up, and I woke up in the hospital. And I remember the EMS being there, and then after that, I don't remember anything until I woke up in the hospital.
Wow.
And then I asked, I was like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, hey, you had some seizures. And I was like, what? So I didn't know.
Me?
Yeah.
I had a seizure?
Yeah. I've never had anything like that in my life.
Yeah.
They were really tough.
So when you came to and you got your wits back, you were like, okay, I had a seizure or several seizures.
Yeah.
Doc, what is going on? So before that, what did you have symptoms or anything?
For the last few years, I've been having headaches, and I thought, so I've been changing. I figured, I'm 44, I'm getting older. Mm-hmm. I figured, it's just age,
Right.
So I've never really had headaches in my life or anything like that. Every now and then I would get one here and there, but other than that, I have always felt healthy, normal. And then the last few years have been more headaches, and I would wake up feeling like I was hungover and I hadn't even drank yet. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dang. So I figured I'm just getting older.
Right.
And then now this happens. Now I can kind of look back and thinking like, now that's probably why.
Yeah. Hindsight's always 20/20.
Yep.
So you had headaches, in which everybody gets headaches.
Yeah.
Some people get,
But mine started getting more frequent over the last year or so. So about 3 years ago, I started getting them frequently, and then the last year or so, they have been more frequent.
So they were a part of your life now.
Yeah.
And you were used to them.
Yeah.
What made them go away? Did you take aspirin or just time?
Ibuprofen is all I took, and tried to get them to go away, and they would go away and then would come right back. Go away, come right back. I didn't think about going to the doctor and asking anything. I just, like I said, I just chalked it up to being older.
Yeah. Because guys our age have been there, done that. So we're like, this will pass.
Yeah.
It's just something.
And I don't really like going to doctors, so I didn't want to take the time to go.
Right.
So
you were in the hospital for a little bit. They diagnosed you with that, and that was November 14th.
Yeah, right around in there. So they did an MRI on me, a CT, and then they did another one whenever I went. Got transported to St. Luke's, and they did another one, and that's whenever I got the full-on diagnosis of that, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah, I mean, how did that impact you immediately? I know it was a bad situation, because right there, you have all these things going in your mind, right?
That hit me like a freight train, and then I started thinking about all these things, like, so what am I going to do now? And you just kind of feel lost, in that.
Right.
That you don't know what the next step is. You don't know if you're going to live to see tomorrow, or something like that. It's kind of one of those, you get a million thoughts all in one.
Right.
Now,
let's keep this in mind, because we have a lot of stories on this podcast, people that have gone through stuff. James, you're going through it right now. So this is completely different, and this is very present, right? So you're going through it right now. And that's very, very, it's a different perspective, man. So hit you like a ton of bricks, you're going through it, and you thought about, life and death. So I'm gonna tell you this. So I have a daughter, she's 15 years old. She got diagnosed with thyroid cancer about 3 years ago. And as a dad, that's one of the worst things you can ever hear.
Absolutely.
Your daughter has cancer, right? And it wasn't benign, it was malignant, right? And so we're like, holy cow, what are we gonna do? And although we never let her know that we thought about death, it was a real thing that Mama and I were thinking about. How is it gonna impact us? How is it gonna impact the generations beyond us, and so on and so forth? And are we gonna be strong? Are we gonna curl up in the fetal position and just give up?
Well, you always have this view of the future without that.
Right.
And you've always, think about like, oh, well, 10 years from now I'm gonna do this, and then now you get that news.
Yeah.
And now those thoughts that you had, kind of now it's like, oh crap.
Right.
I don't know if I'm gonna see the 10 years.
However, though, being the guy you are thinking about positivity. You are thinking about the future. You are thinking about a future with your daughter and all these things, because that's what we should be doing as resilient human beings, right? But you do think about those negative things.
I do think about the negative.
Because it's real.
No matter how positive you want to be, I mean, those negative thoughts are still there.
Right.
And I don't think anybody could ever get rid of those.
No.
No matter how much you think about those things or try to stay positive. But I do think about, one day walking my daughter down the aisle, having my first grandkid, I mean, that's what keeps me going.
Yep.
Like, I want that.
You got to keep that motor going.
Yeah.
Finding a wife.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
Finding a wife,
Maybe.
Yeah. So just to expand on what you're talking about here, and we talked about it before the show here. There was a young lady here, a very inspirational young lady named Jen Reynolds, and she was a pillar in the community. She was a beacon of hope, beacon of light, beacon of motivation, right? So she recently passed away from breast cancer, and she was part of the Pink Warrior Advocates. And we had her on an interview one time, and somebody asked her, so how is it, having the terminal illness? And she says, well, let me tell you this. we're all on terminal. We never know when it's our time to go. And there's some people in the room today, one of us is next. We don't know who it is. So live your life to the fullest. Live your life to the max capacity that you can, no matter what you're going through, whether you have a tumor, whether you have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, or you're in the best health of your life. So, I'll go back to that. Kudos to you, James. Just you're keeping it real with us and with the audience, but you're thinking about the negativity, and we all have to think about that. What if we make the wrong decision?
Yeah.
What if we hanging out with the wrong crowd? What can happen? What if I go over there to this bar and start a fight, get drunk, get DUI, or get kill somebody on the road, get killed? There's so many things that we have to think about. It's decision making, but it's also positive thinking as well. Just making the right decisions and making the right decisions with your thought process. Sure. So it has impacted your life, and you're unable to work right now because you're on medication, right? So it's impacted your career.
Absolutely.
Money-wise, financially, it's impacted you. And I don't know your financial situation with insurance or anything like that, but I know we are having, and we'll talk about it after, but there is a benefit coming up, and I don't know if you want to talk about that now.
Absolutely, okay. Whatever. So one of the things, before we talk about that really quick is, and my husband and I both are firm believers that God brings people in your life for a reason, not a season. And my husband Russell has actually been the one kind of spearheading it, but since I'm the extrovert and believe it or not, I'm the one that, does more of it. One of the things that we wanted to do for our friend, the first thing that we're doing right now is a GoFundMe account. What James hasn't mentioned, it's not necessarily he can't work because of the tumor, but after you have a seizure, and he has a CDL license, by law, he can't work for, is it like 3 months, 6 months?
After your last seizure, you can't drive a CDL truck for 5 years.
Yeah, for a long time, which has impacted his whole life.
Right.
So we have first started the GoFundMe account, and that was just to help his immediate needs. I think first was the food. I kind of started a food chain, meal chain, and he was getting all this food, and we were making him fat and happy and all that. He was going up a size in his jeans. And then the GoFundMe. And then I reached out to Shanna, who runs, she's like the events coordinator at River Rose, because obviously James lives in Canyon Lake. Right. And so they are one of our sponsors. So on February 15th, we are hosting a benefit for James. All the proceeds, everything will go to him. We're doing a biker poker run, which is actually kind of cool. We're doing a barbecue plate, lots of silent auction items, lots of different things that we're going to do throughout that day, and hopefully be able to take that burden off of him just a little bit.
Absolutely.
The meals were not a big deal, but it was just something that, he's a single guy. Not that he can't cook, because he can, but he just wasn't feeling like, so I was like, what can we do first? Which is the meals.
And he's available, ladies.
He's available, yeah. As a matter of fact, I think he was making us a pot roast or something.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have it out in the truck.
Oh yeah, so he was, as a reward, he was making that pot roast. So first it's just started with that, like, what can we do? And then obviously the GoFundMe account was for his immediate needs.
Right.
We realize now, and I know he hasn't talked about this yet, but after he met with the doctor, when he realized what kind of surgery it's going to take, it's pretty invasive. Yeah. So it was like, all right, this needs to be more than just meals and a GoFundMe. This really needs to be a benefit. Right. So with the help of others, and of course River Rose Tavern, which is in Canyon Lake, and James's family, we're going to host this benefit on February 15th.
Awesome, and we'll make sure we post the details on that as well, the GoFundMe link and things like that. All right, so that was kind of the intermission there, but let's get back into the story here. So you're gonna, she kind of mentioned it there. You're gonna have this tumor removed, right? So this is called a craniotomy.
Headband.
Okay.
So it's going to come over the top, and they're going to fold my scalp down. So.
Okay. And that's going to hold you back for 5 to 6 months.
Yeah, they said a hospital stay is going to be somewhere 4 to 5 days, and then at home the recovery time is 2 to 3 months, depending on what's going to go on. But she said that's usually about that. So
okay, and that's a tough surgery. Anytime you're dealing with the heart or the cranium, that's a big deal. So we still don't know what the severity of this tumor is. We have no idea. It could be completely benign, or it could be malignant. We just don't know yet. So of course, if it's in your head, we can't do a biopsy or anything like that. So this is what this is going to be, right? Pretty much a biopsy.
pretty much it can be a removal and a biopsy at the same time.
Okay.
So they said pretty much after that they're going to see what steps that need to be taken, after it's removed and stuff. So and they don't really know yet. So they're thinking it's a type 1, but it could be type 2.
What does that
I don't
mean?
know all that.
Okay.
All that.
You know what that means,
medical
Michelle?
stuff is.
It's just the type of cancer from what he's told me from the beginning and what I've read. So obviously, once they do the biopsy, best case scenario, they remove it, it's gone, and he doesn't have to do chemo or radiation or doesn't have to have any further surgeries after that. Type 2, I mean, as it if it's more malignant,
So it could come back.
it could
is what
come
they
back,
said.
things like that.
Okay.
Luckily, it's but it's like in the front of his head, so they don't have to dig around.
It's better. It's
in
easily
there.
accessible.
Easily
as
accessible.
opposed to
Yeah,
other parts of your.
so what I was told was they said, or the doctor told me, if anybody wants a tumor, they would want it where I have it.
Okay.
So she said, hopefully everything goes smoothly. She said she's pretty positive about it. She said, so once it's removed, they'll figure out what to do right after that. So
How much are you involved with faith?
a lot.
I'm sure
I
you
do
pray.
believe in God, and I pray myself,
Yep.
and that's one thing that I'm very thankful of is a lot of the friends and family that have reached out to me have said that. They said, "Hey, you're my thoughts and my prayers." That means more to me than anything else. Than $20, $100 or something like that. I just having that make me feel a hell of a lot better.
Right. So let's talk about that support system. And we always talk about it. We post it on Facebook. We do all this stuff. You don't know somebody or you don't know your support system till you're in a bad spot. Because it's all fun and games. Everybody loves you when you're doing well. Right? Hey, James, let's go out and let's go have some drinks and this and that. But when you're in a bad spot, when you're going through something, a life-changing impact like this, that's when you know who your friends are.
Yep.
And that's who you know who's in your corner. And I can tell you right now, these two people, James and Michelle, are definitely in your corner.
Russell and Michelle.
I see James. Russell.
And
You're-
James.
Well, I mean, you can call him James too if you want to.
You're
but-
James. Russell Rhone and Michelle Rhone. You guys are a great support system, and I can tell the generosity and the genuine look in your eye. I mean, you really care, and I know that means a lot to you. And I'm sure there is a love involved, a friendship that is unmatched. I mean, you just don't know until you're going through some stuff, man. So how important is this support system in your life?
Very important. My daughter texts me almost every day, like, "Hey, Dad, are you doing okay? Do you need anything? I know I have to work late or something, and she's always checking up on me. And my parents do too on a daily basis as well. My other friends are always, Facebooking me, and texting me or even calling me or saying, "Hey, man, let's go out to lunch. Are you available?" Like, "Yeah, sure." And then all of a sudden 2 or 3 more people show up.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there at lunch, just a bunch of us just laughing at everything. So it makes me forget about a lot of the negative stuff.
Yeah, because you mentioned we were on the phone the other day that somebody just called you and said, "Hey, man, I don't want you to be alone. Let's go out." So
And they do too. They're always like, "Hey, do we need to come pick you up for lunch or something?"
Yeah.
So it's very nice to have that.
But here's the thing about James is such a humble guy. Even when I was just doing the meals, which was really no big deal to me, it took him a while to accept that.
Yeah.
It really did. And all it was food. So it took him a little bit.
Well, I'm not used to people helping me. I'm used to joining up on, everybody else to help somebody else. I never thought I'd be in that spot to have help.
Yep. And we talked about
and
that too.
And it feels totally different.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to accept that.
You're a giver. You're a support system to your daughter and to your friends, and now the roles are kind of reversed, right? So.
And it is hard to accept.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
I've had to become his mom manager in a way and basically say, James, just accept that.
Yeah. I mean, I am super thankful, but I'm also like, how do I say thank you for something like that? Right. And it just makes me feel way different. Like I've sat and thought like, so what do I do? Do I do this mass thank you thing, or do I go to each individual person, And so I just want everybody to know that I am super thankful for that. Yeah. And it really makes me feel like, that I have somebody,
Right. Right.
And people do have my back.
Right. Let me ask you this vulnerable question. Do you feel strong right now?
I'm trying to, I do feel a lot stronger than what I did 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then I started having all this help, from Michelle and Russell, my parents, and my other friends and stuff, and so to hear people in person say, "Hey, I got your back," that makes me way stronger.
James, you are a strong dude, man. I just couldn't even fathom being in your situation, but you're a strong individual. More than you know, more than you think. And you guys know this, Michelle.
Absolutely. And I think that was one of the things that we kept saying to James, because he kept saying thank you and thank you and thank you. It's like, we're not doing this because we want you to feel like you have to say thank you. And I said this earlier, I don't care how long you've known someone, whether you've known them for your whole life, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, 6 months.
Right.
This was a need.
Right.
And he has, the thing about James is he has a lot of friends, and he does because he's a really cool dude. I mean, now I think we've talked about this at lunch, the medicine, sometimes he'll get really mad and like cuss you out, and he doesn't really I haven't gotten that side of him yet. But I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah. Because you're not really yourself.
You're not yourself. Exactly.
Yeah, it makes you weird and kind of irritable, and then some days I'm just sad as hell. And then especially if I don't have anything to do, and I'm one of these people, I cannot be cooped up in the house. I got to be outside doing something. My hobbies are fishing, hunting, and stuff like that. Obviously, those are outside things. And golfing, as well.
You a good golfer?
Well, not really, but
your friends probably say you suck, right?
Absolutely, every day.
It depends on how.
But I'm having fun. I don't care if I suck.
That's all that matters. Right?
You're a good dove hunter. You were just.
Yeah, but that's probably about it. Everything else, I just do it. I just have fun, no matter if I'm good at it or not.
Yeah.
So. And I think, Johnny, really quick, just to back up, is a week before we found out about James, he literally was just with Russell for 3 days dove hunting. And Russell was no signs. Like, you expect almost to see a sign or, to see something. And he was his fun, loving, normal, laughable self. I mean, our entire family, fell in love with him. And so it hit him hard because they had just spent, 3 or 4 days shooting birds together. And Russell was kind of not joking aside, but you kind of had a gun in your hand. We're kind of thankful that you didn't shoot anything other than birds. Not really knowing.
Shoot him in the ass.
Not really knowing what was going on at the time, know. And so I think that's kind of what has led us up to. He has a great support system. His parents have reached out to us as well. They're both from Lake Jackson.
Okay.
My husband's from Lake Jackson. He's from Lake Jackson. His family lives there. So there's that other kind of connection and stuff as well. And so, but you just do what you do, and there's no thanks needed. I mean, we're not doing this for. We know that we're friends, and I know that if anything ever happened to me or my husband or anybody in my family, James would be the first one, to step up and help us.
I think just staying strong and positive is thanks people.
Without a doubt.
It's showing them that you are the real deal badass, man. When people all day can talk, I'm a badass, I'm do this. No. You're not a badass until you've been diagnosed with something, or you have something impacting your life, like I talked about at the beginning of the show, some of those things right now during the holidays, and you can still make an impact in the lives of others and inspire others, you're a badass, you know? So you've definitely inspired me, my man, without a doubt. I live my life a certain way, but I'm always thankful for what I have. And my perspective is this: no matter what you're going through, there's always somebody going through some other shit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I don't think what I'm going through is as bad as what, you know, a lot of other people have it way worse than me.
There's always somebody worse. People are getting kidnapped, and people are, you know, getting shot in schools. And I mean, it's a crazy world we live in.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely a dangerous world, and we never know. Like I said, one of us is next. We just don't know.
Well, and that was one of the reasons when I brought up the podcast, when I reached out to you and brought up the podcast idea, I think James' hesitation and reaction is because he's always behind the camera kind of guy. You know, he's never in front of the camera. I'm like, just be yourself. Yeah. Like, but your story of just what you're going through, like you said, we're all going through something. Obviously, his has probably been more. We've put it out there more because I've put it. I'm, you know, that's just what I do. But it wasn't for him. It was just we want to make sure that he's taken care of and that he gets the help. And he was just helping at the VFW in Canyon Lake a week after he was diagnosed with this. I mean, that's just the type of person that he is. So I'm very proud of him for even agreeing to do this and telling a story.
I did hesitate a little bit because, you know, I'm not used to being in the spotlight. You know, around my friends, you know, I can be a clown or something, you know, and, you know, but to sit and address other people, that's something it's a lot different.
James, a lot of people freak out coming on the podcast. It sounds good in theory. They're like, oh, yeah, I'll come on a podcast. Yeah. I got this story to talk about.
A little bit.
But once they sit in this seat, they're like, holy shit, all these lights and all this cameras and these mics, and I got to tell a story now. Now I'm in the hot seat. It's a tough thing to do. Being vulnerable is a tough thing to do. And I always say this. Being vulnerable is leadership. You are a leader amongst leaders, whether you know it or whether you see yourself as a leader. Sometimes
I don't feel that way. You know, I'll have my days where I'm at home and I'm depressed for, you know, a couple of days. You know, I really don't want to get out of the house. And then there are days when I'm like, you know, I just can't sit here. You know, I got to go do something. You know, I got to call some friends. You know, I got to go to the grocery store and just be among other people. You know, and once I do, I feel better. I'm more positive.
Well, dude, you got out of the house and you came into a podcast studio.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah, and that's something you've never done before. And a lot of people have never done this before. With big lights on you and being vulnerable, telling people that you're going to be okay. And that you're a leader and you're courageous without saying it. Because you would never say that. I can tell you that. No. And Russell and Michelle, he would never say that.
He would never say that. No.
But your actions are saying it for you. You don't have to come out and say anything. All you got to do is tell your story and say, hey, this is what I'm going through, and I'm going to be better for it. And, dude, that is magic. That is inspiring others, and it's you know, just being vulnerable.
And I still got something that I'm still scared of, like the surgery. You know? Yeah. That's never 100% thing that you're ever going to come out of that.
100 out of 100 people would be scared of that.
Yeah. You know, and there's always a small percentage in anything, you know, even whenever they say, hey, the success rate is awesome and you don't have anything to worry about, there's always that little percentage there. Right. That something can go wrong, and I don't want it to go wrong with me. Yeah. But that's something I do got to, you know, think
embrace.
about.
I mean, you got to embrace it. It's they're there to help you. And I'm confident in prayer, and I'm confident in you, and in what you're doing as well. It's got to get done. There's no way around it.
There isn't.
So you either embrace it, just like going on that roller coaster. When you get to the top, you're like, oh shit.
Just hold on.
Yeah. There ain't no turning back now. Nope. Either I'm gonna enjoy this or I'm gonna vomit, right? But in your situation, you just got to go through it. Yeah. And
I do want to. I want to have a future after this. You know. So yeah, I do. I don't.
You want to get married again?
We want to get married. Yes, we're looking for a wife.
Maybe eventually. Yeah.
What's your ideal gal?
Oh, I don't know. Outgoing for sure.
Okay, she can't be boring.
No.
Country, ball cap, Astros.
Yeah, ball
Astros
cap,
fan.
ponytail sticking out the back, cheering for the Astros.
A hunter, preferably, maybe.
Don't have to be, but yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay.
Has a job, has teeth, has a place to, a sufficient.
And just
could
be a
cook.
support system.
Support
man.
system, yeah.
That's the beauty of it. A lot of, and I don't want to speak for all guys, but I hear a lot of guys. Oh, I want a girl that does this or looks like this or whatever, but they never say I want a girl to support me, not financially, but just support me for who I am and for the decisions I make. And that right there is gold. Yep. That is probably one of the best decisions I made was to marry my wife. And I didn't know she was that supportive. I mean, I kind of knew she was a little supportive at the time. We were young. And holy shit, has she changed my life. So you're going to find yourself a soulmate. And hopefully our producer, J-Rock, will find himself.
Yeah, maybe we should put a cell number at the bottom of the tag.
I'm waiting for J-Rock to find his soulmate.
1-800.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for that for a while, though, haven't we?
Maybe we could double date.
Do some double dating.
How cool would that be?
That would be super cool. Yeah.
Never know.
But I think J-Rock is looking for a different kind of gal.
Not a hunter.
Wait, no, definitely, yeah. I mean, I don't think I'll ever go hunting, guys. So
Well, he's hunting for something.
I'm hunting for something right now. Yeah, I'm hunting for something right now, but that's about it.
What is your ideal woman?
She's got to like pro wrestling.
That's right.
She's got to like pro wrestling.
I forgot.
I used to back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Did you? Who was your guy?
Well, everybody's going to say like Hulk Hogan or something like that. But
mine was Carrie Von Erich.
Oh, there you go.
So y'all don't think that.
Did you watch the movie?
I watched the movie. That movie was
it's awesome.
Heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
No, you don't know that, but
Hey, Russell, was she sweating and stuff when she was watching that?
I don't know, but she's looking for a hall pass, I guess.
Yeah, so one of the benefits, I'm just going to throw this out, Parker McCollum lives in Canyon Lake, and he's my hall pass.
Okay.
If I was to have, I've been married 20 years.
And
but
Russell don't care.
He
Russell's
don't care.
he was like, what's that young kid got on me, right?
What did he say a while ago? Russell's like, who's that? And I'm like, okay, well, I'm good.
He said, never heard of her.
Never heard of it.
So my wife's hall pass, George Strait.
Oh, no, he's mine too.
So you have the youngster?
No,
and my wife has the 80-year-old.
No, he's 72.
That would have been the first person I thought she would have said.
No, I did say George. Ask my husband. It used to be Matthew McConaughey. But now that I'm an Aggie mom, he's too much of a Longhorn, so I had to kind of kick him.
He's older
I'm a
than
Longhorn,
72. J-Rock, can we look that up? How
No,
old is
George
Strait?
Strait is 72, I believe. I'm almost 74. Look, my husband knows. So it used to be George Strait, Matthew not so much, and now Parker's kind of slid in slid in there a little bit. So, but I'm happily married 20 years and totally agree. You have to have a great support system.
Have to.
Being married or not, having friends, having a support system.
Friends, family, or just people around you.
Even
to
just
make you feel
random
better.
people that have reached out to me, to me, that's like gold.
Michelle, you're right. He's 72 years old. George Strait.
Don't question
I know.
my man.
Who am I to question you and
Do
your
not.
man crush?
My man crush. I mean, honestly, I met George Strait in person years ago, 25 years ago. And when he first started out at the Astrodome, being from Houston, he was playing at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and we were at the Astrodome. And he covered for Eddie Rabbit, if that tells you how long ago it's been. Yeah. I fell in love with him then, and I don't care if he's 70. My husband's in his 60s, so a few more years is nothing.
So what got you? Amarillo by morning?
The chair. The chair.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I think it was the chair. It was the chair in Amarillo. I mean, he only had like 4 songs out back then. Yeah. They weren't, very but it was, what it really was? It was the Wranglers. It was the butt. It was the back end.
So what was it for you to be attracted to Russ?
It was.
And he wears Levi's.
He does. So it was funny. We met through work, and I don't know if y'all remember the Dr. Pepper commercial that was played years ago, and the hot Buffy guy would be delivering Dr. Peppers, and all the girls would run to the window and like see him like unload. I may be aging myself at this point.
I remember the Cindy Crawford Pepsi, or was it Coke?
Okay, it was Coke, so something like that, or Pepsi. But Russell was one of my vendors through work, and he just would not leave me alone.
He was a stalker.
He was a stalker.
Wow. There you go, Russell.
You heard it here on the Social Plug Podcast.
He was a stalker. He would not leave me alone. And 22 years together.
Hey, obviously it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
I mean, 22 years together and 20 years of marriage.
So you like stalkers there, Michelle?
I mean, I had to train him a little bit. I had to.
Does he still bring you Dr. Pepper at least?
He actually does. No, he actually does. And at this stage in our life, it's weird because we're empty nesters. Our kids are grown, and it's just him and I. Mm-hmm. And you're gonna find this soon. That was hard for me, and especially when our youngest, went off, we had to really kind of like each other again because you're
start all over.
It's
a different dynamic.
Different dynamic, and so I think I'll keep him around at this point. So
you made it, Russell.
He made it through but I still have my hall passes. So
what's Russell's hall pass? Does Russell have a hall pass?
He does not. I don't think. Oh, Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood.
He's in love with her legs.
So you like Carrie Von Erich, and he likes Carrie Underwood. So you both like Carrie.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Back in the day, but I forgot that you did all that wrestling.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Love all that stuff. So.
That's what keeps me open-minded is loving wrestling because it's opened up my brain to many things, business, life.
So you want a girl that can body slam you, basically, is what you're saying.
She's gonna be pretty damn strong.
If J-Rock can marry Stephanie McMahon, he probably would.
Oh man, I have to take on Triple H.
Ooh, she's a scary one.
Yeah,
she scares
is.
Me.
Yeah. That was a scary one. Yeah.
But that's your type of woman, right?
Stephanie McMahon?
Yeah.
I don't think so. She's too strong. I don't know.
She's like a man.
She's too strong.
I think she takes a lot of testosterone.
Yeah,
so.
see, that's what I'm saying.
Or China. She's no longer with us. But
that's definitely not the kind of woman we're looking for.
He wants a Carrie Underwood type. You want a Carrie Underwood type, right?
Why not?
Or a Jessica Simpson back in the 90s. One of those?
Like Daisy Duke?
Kind of like a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of that?
Yeah.
All right, there you go, ladies. So are you on Tinder or anything like that?
Bumble.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
There you go.
So he's swiping left.
See, he's trying.
When he's not. I know.
I don't have all the notifications on anyway, so I barely even check it.
So your wife could be just sitting there in your notifications, man.
I'm gonna turn it on now.
Hey, so you didn't think we were gonna ask you that, right?
No, I didn't think so.
Are you on OnlyFans at all?
We're gonna put him on Farmer. What is it?
Farmers Only.
Farmers Only.
Farmers Only.
That'll be my next after I get through.
That was a friend of mine joke a long time ago, and they actually got a hold of my phone and made me a profile.
I
didn't know this. So, like the very next day, I'm getting all these Farmers Only notifications. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. And I get on it, and I'm like, who the hell did this?
Yeah,
and
that's funny.
I had to delete.
Those are good friends, though. They care about you.
They were trying to hook me up.
James,
they're a bit more
give
loyal.
Me your phone.
Yeah.
Give me your phone. We'll take care of this situation. No.
I heard farmer girls are more loyal because of the way they treat their animals and stuff. So.
That's no lie. I grew up on a farm in Oklahoma.
And I grew up with a bunch of country girls.
Anyway,
so, yeah.
And so did Russell. I mean, they're from Lake Jackson. There's not a whole lot to do in Lake Jackson. You have to like your sheep or your family if you're from Lake Jackson.
That's a whole
I
nother
never had
podcast.
any sheep. Maybe a few goats.
You know what happens in Lake Jackson when those sheep and goats go missing? Everybody in Lake Jackson's going to hate me now, but sorry.
No, but around Pleasanton area, that's not far from San Antonio. So, we hung out a lot up here, at the dance halls and stuff. So, like Blue Bonnet Palace and stuff.
After the benefit, I'm going to work on the dating profile.
There you go. Hell yeah. Dude, I'm going to try to find you somebody.
Yeah.
Too. I'm on the hunt for you. All right. So you like country music, obviously. We talked a little bit about George Strait and Carrie Underwood. And who's your favorite country artist right now?
Man, I got a lot of them, to be honest. I mean, I listen to everything. From Wade Bowen to Randy Rogers to Parker McGollum.
Who did we go see at Whitewater? Brian Zimmerman. We went to Whitewater and saw Brian Zimmerman.
Yeah,
he was a pretty cool upcoming guy. He's young.
Yeah, I think we seen pretty much almost everybody.
Almost everybody, yeah. Miranda Lambert, seen them all.
Yeah, I mean, it's right down the road from you, right?
Yeah, so we're always at concerts over there.
Yeah. Live music is king here in New Braunfels. We love that. So I like country music. I've been accustomed to it now. I mean, when I was younger, I was like, I don't want to listen to country music.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, I love it. It's part of me now. So going to Whitewater Amphitheater and these, Fryhead Country Store and things like that.
Definitely been around here.
Yeah. And being on this podcast platform, we've been able to interview different
Well,
musicians.
some good ones. From
Alex Meixner to Sonny Salceda to others. And if you have any country guys that need to come on a podcast and tell their story, let us know. Before we wrapped up, though, you watch movies?
I do, not as much as I used to, but here and there.
So let me ask you this. This is something I always ask here. Who plays you in your life story?
Oh, Lord.
I guess kind of put you on the spot.
Yeah, you did, and I really don't think I can think of anything.
Let me think of this. Russell, who would play him?
I know, I'm kind of out of luck.
Russell's got that look. I say
I know.
Robert De Niro.
Oh, Robert De Niro for Russell?
The sane Robert De Niro.
Oh, yeah, not the
back
in the day.
Back when he was, his mind was right.
Yeah. Maybe like a Bradley Cooper.
Okay.
I mean, I'm aiming high. But
I can't say Bradley Cooper.
I don't think I
say that.
can either. But yeah,
I can. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
There's
trying
Bradley
to
Cooper
aim
there.
high.
yeah. Look at that. Yeah, there's no damn way.
Oh,
Yeah.
No way. No way.
okay. Well, maybe not Bradley Cooper. But that's a good question,
Yeah.
Johnny. Like,
Actually, I'm gonna think about that.
yeah. What?
Yeah.
That's a
Because
good
I mean, I
question.
think a lot of people think, like, who would play me? Because everybody watches movies. Who would play me in my life story?
So who would play you?
Maybe Tom Cruise.
Oh shit.
I don't know, because he's short and he has a big nose.
Yeah. He is
Maybe.
short.
Yeah.
So.
He's about 5'5". I'm 5'6.5".
Oh wow.
So
didn't
I
realize
wasn't
that.
blessed with
Yeah.
the gift of height,
Yeah.
but I have a big mouth, so I was blessed. I was blessed with that.
So it was like a trade-off.
Yeah. But I would switch it up if I can be 6 foot. Oh man, that'd be ideal.
I don't know. Well,
I think my life would change. I might have been playing college ball or something. Who knows? But
yeah, but then you
Russell, what? You're 6'2", 6'3"?
He's 6'2". He played college ball, and you think, oh, that's great and wonderful until you hit his age, and then you can't move. Like
Yeah,
his
you're hurting all the
knees.
time.
He
I
was
think he's
he was-
shrinking, too.
Yeah, he's shrinking it. He was catcher, so his
Oh, his
knees,
knees.
his hips, he's had rotator. Like, I'm gonna have to trade him in pretty soon. Like,
I was gonna say,
yeah.
okay, he's 62. He's got about 3-4 years left of
Yeah.
longevity, and then hey, it's gonna be George Strait.
It's
George Strait will be 75 at that time.
Yeah.
Maybe
He'll be
Parker
75.
It's
McCall.
gonna have to be
Yeah.
Parker.
Parker's got to be what, 29 years old?
No, what is Parker? He's at least
Parker?
in his
Oh,
30s.
Parker.
We got to look him up. He's got to
Yeah.
be in at least in his 30s.
I'd say he's
early.
32 maybe.
Yeah, I'd
max.
say early 30s.
I don't
probably.
know.
Maybe late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
32.
32.
Yeah.
32 years old.
I mean, I like them both ways, I guess. So
So we are in the holiday season. Shit, this doesn't even feel like Christmas. It's
No,
like
it
85
doesn't.
degrees. out
Especially
there.
for me, it hasn't felt like any holiday yet. You
No.
know, being at the VFW and help surveying and stuff like that, and helping that got me in more of the spirit. You know, with that, I did miss out on hanging out with my family, so that was kind of a bummer on that one. But it also, made me feel good to help out others.
Yeah.
At the same time, I will spend Christmas with my family.
Very
next
awesome.
week. So
I'm glad that you got both parents. A lot of people aren't blessed with having both parents in their lives. I'm blessed beyond belief having them. Bless their heart. They're great people
and
they're great support.
they're very supportive of me,
Yep.
and they let me stay at their house for about 4 to 5 days after the hospital stay, and
Yep.
and stuff like that. So, and they made sure that I was okay and told me, don't drink, don't do this, like I was a kid again.
Don't drink, yeah.
can you not mention that we just did a breakfast shot at Oyster Bar before we came over here?
I don't know what she's talking about. I really
It was
don't.
just me and Russell.
Yeah, you don't want his doctor watching this podcast.
Yeah. No, and I think it's important to know that he's having his surgery in Houston.
Okay.
And then he will stay with his
Yeah,
family.
my family lives just out there,
Yeah.
so
Lake Jackson.
yeah, so it's a lot easier to recover down there. So I would be down there for 2 to 3 months solid.
Okay.
Or however long it takes to recover, and then I want to try to get my butt back up here.
Okay.
So,
We're not going
as
to let
fast
him
as I
stay
can.
go long. Yeah, we're not going to let him stay gone long.
I would say, man, I went through my surgery and I didn't expect it. I had diverticulitis and
Yeah, I heard that's
almost
horrible.
it almost took me as well. But I think the best time of that, and I took a lot out of that, was I was able to spend a lot of time with my mom. And so, you know, I know you're going to go through that, but cherish that time, man, as well, you know. And I think I sit back and I'm like, man, if I can go through it again, that's the one thing I appreciate, was being able to sit and talk to my mom all those days. So definitely.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm very envious of 3 years today. As a matter of fact, I lost my mom and lost my dad previous to that. So Russell and I both are don't have our parents. So I'm so happy that my friend does, and he's able to have you know, that support system.
Yep. It definitely is a blessing. James, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Find him a wife.
Okay. Chalk that up to number 2 right there. To be a lot healthier, to be honest with you. So I'm going to start riding a bike, start exercising a little more. I know everybody says that, you know, about that. But now with me going through this, I drink non-alcoholic beer now, you know, more. So, yeah, I think changing up things about me.
Your lifestyle?
You know, yeah. So that way I don't have to go through something else later on. You know, I think that would be a good start right there.
Good deal.
And
So
coming
I
on
do
more
eat-
podcasts, like the fact that you've even done this.
Yeah, I've
is
never done this,
huge.
and
Do you feel
it's
more
actually
confident
pretty
and
cool.
more
I do
comfortable?
feel more confident. You know, in all
That's what I said. Once you start, once I ask you the first question I introduce you, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for anybody going through something like what you're going through right now?
Do I have any advice? Just stay positive. Make sure that any chance that you get to talk to somebody that wants to talk to you, that wants to invite you out somewhere. Don't stay cooped up in the house. You know, don't be by yourself. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people that are out there that are willing to, you know, take their time out of their day to spend with you, and make sure that you don't have to sit there and think about all the negative stuff. Just get out there and do something. You know, don't curl up in a fetal position like what you said earlier. You know, and think, you know, a lot of the bad things. And like I said, and I do have those days, you know, where I'm feeling bad, or I got bad headaches and I don't want to get out. And then I start to think about the negative stuff. And then I'm like, hey, might as well just go grocery shopping and get out. Then I'm around other people and I feel normal again. You know, I don't feel like I have to sit there and think about all the bad stuff. So take that opportunity and just put your shoes on and get out there and go hang out with your friends and stuff. So just because you're going through something bad, you know, if you're willing and able to get out of the house and go do something, get out and go do something. So that's what's keeping me sane, you know, and being with these guys here, being with my parents. You know, I'm leaving tomorrow or Thursday to go down there to spend some time with my sister Stephanie and my parents and stuff. So I really want to be around my family.
Heck yeah, man.
So
Yeah. Proud of you, sir.
thank you.
You did it. You got past the podcast, or most of it. We're not quite through yet. But for about 95% of it, we're done. I mean, how do you feel after this?
I feel great. You know, I feel if there's anybody that wants to reach out to me, you know, I'll be more than happy to talk to them. You know, people that I haven't met, you know, hey, let's meet. You know, here in New Braunfels and San Antonio. My daughter lives right there in San Antonio, so I'm always over there. You know, here and there.
Big shout out to your daughter as well. I don't know her, but I'm very fond of her because she texts you and she supports you and all that stuff as well.
Until she needs an oil change, and I ask her, and she doesn't text me after that.
So let me ask you this, because I have a 15-year-old and a 14-year-old. When they get 22, do they start valuing you more and listening to you a little bit more?
Not really. Not really, but she wants to do her own thing, and I'll let her do her own thing. You know, and I've learned that. Like, we've had her ups and downs, you know, because she's very independent.
Okay.
And I'm very independent. That's why I butt heads with my parents. They tell me some things or whatever, because I like to, and I've always been independent. So,
And you taught your daughter that.
yeah. And then now, so whenever I go to tell her something, she's just like, no, Dad, I got it. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
You know, so, but whenever I have tried to put my foot down on something, I also got to think that she is a young woman and she's got her own, you know, thoughts, you know, she wants to do her own thing. So, you know, but yeah, she been talking to me a lot more, being more soft-hearted and stuff like that since she found out what I was going through. So she'd become a lot more closer to me.
James, you are blessed. Whether you realize it or not, you are very blessed. And we're blessed to have you here on the show and here in the community as well. So, Michelle, do you want to reiterate the GoFundMe and the things like that?
Absolutely. So even if it's $5, $10, $20 on the GoFundMe account, that is live, which I know that y'all will post. All of those are just for his needs right now because, as James said, he's not able to work. He has no income coming in, and that's a hard thing for a guy who's single. Just to having to really admit that. And I really had to ask his permission. Obviously, we don't, you don't want people knowing all of your business. Mm-hmm. But in a situation like this, so the GoFundMe, I don't care what it is, there's a need, and it will go to good use. And then the benefit is still a work in progress, but the date is set for February the 15th. It's an all-day event, like we said, at River Rose and Canyon Lake. It's going to be huge.
Live music.
We're still putting together, if you sing, if country, I don't care what kind of music it is, definitely we're still putting those together. The biker poker run that we're doing raffles. We're doing some really big things. Luckily, River Rose has got a really good sources that they can tap into with distributors and things like that they've offered, to help. I have my goal's 50,000. I know it's a big number, but that's my goal that I've set, and I try to always attain all those goals. So I feel like that would get him through that 6-month period, possibly, that he just physically cannot.
Right. And another thing is what money I don't use, I will donate back to another, GoFundMe or fundraiser or something.
Nonprofit, something.
Yeah, nonprofit or something like that. So it's not going to go to waste, I promise.
Heck yeah, man. You have anything else, Michelle?
No, just I'm glad that we talked him into it. Thank you for having us. And
absolutely.
And this was just more about what's going on. I mean, man, if you have an apology to say or you've got something to do it now. Mm-hmm. Like time is short, and the week before this happened, a good friend of his had just passed away, and somebody that we knew casually. We were at the funeral. Mm-hmm. Then we hear about James, and then it was one of Russell's best friends from high school had just passed away. Mm-hmm. It was like back to back to back, and it just takes your breath away. Right. It really does.
Yeah, it's been hard the last, I would say at least about the last month to month and a half, leading up to, Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff like that. Right. And but I guess everybody's still going to move forward, but also give thanks.
Right. Absolutely, man.
I'm proud of you, James. You did a great job.
Appreciate it.
Well, James, let me give some words of wisdom to people watching. This was a courageous episode for you. This was not only your coming on a podcast, but giving your story on a podcast. That's definitely next level. We talk about next level all the time. This is next level, all right? Because the average bear can't even talk about it with one person, let alone hopefully millions of people can watch this, so you can impact them as well. No matter what you guys are going through, there's always somebody going through something way worse. And James is a testament here. And there are people going through other things beyond what you're going through. Yeah. But be thankful for the support system you have. If you're alive and breathing, you are blessed beyond measure. This is the holiday season. Make sure you love your loved ones. Be a kind-hearted person. Be generous. And generous doesn't only mean monetary. It means time, effort, energy. Give to others, and you will return tenfold. So with that said, you are unplugged from the Social Plug Podcast, and we will talk to you soon. Big shout out to James Cantu, Michelle Rhone, and Russell Rhone.